Before we begin, let me ask you something. Where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments below. I always love seeing just how far these little stories can reach. And if you've ever had a night you wish you could undo, or maybe one that unexpectedly changed everything, then this story might feel very close to home. So let me take you back to the night that started it all. It had been one of those soul-grinding days. The kind where the air feels heavy, the clock drags like syrup, and even your coworkers move like ghosts drifting through the motions. I had put in 13 hours at the firm that day. Back-to-back meetings, endless emails, and a team that somehow couldn't function without tapping on my shoulder every 10 minutes. At 55, being the go-to person in a male-dominated office wasn't charming anymore. 10 years ago, maybe. But now it only drained me. When I finally came home later than usual, the house was quiet. Blessedly so. I dropped my heels by the door as if they weighed 100 pounds each. The soft glow from the kitchen light spilled into the living room, and before I even took off my coat, I made a beeline for the wine rack. 3 glasses later, maybe 4, I found myself sliding down onto the living room carpet, my back pressed against the couch, while a Miles Davis record spun softly on the turntable. The music floated around me like smoke, and for the first time all week I felt like I could breathe again. The wine buzzed in my blood, numbing the tightness in my chest, softening the weight on my shoulders. That's when I heard the front door open. I froze, not in fear but in embarrassment. I wasn't expecting anyone, and certainly not Thomas. Thomas, my son. 28 years old, tall like his father, with that quiet, kind way of seeing more than you want him to. He'd been staying with me for 2 months while his apartment building was being renovated. It was supposed to be temporary, just a few weeks, but I didn't really mind. The silence in the house had grown a little too loud since the divorce. He stepped in, paused, and said gently, "Mom." I looked up from the floor, flushed, wine glass in hand. "Hey, sweetheart," I mumbled, swirling what was left in my glass like it was the most natural thing in the world. "Long day. Just decompressing." He didn't respond right away. Just tilted his head, studying me, trying to read between my words. Then, without judgment, he walked over and sat on the floor beside me. "You okay?" he asked softly. That question hit harder than it should have. Could have lied. I could have laughed it off, brushed it aside. But something in his voice, so calm, so genuine, made my throat tighten. "No," I whispered. "Not really." And then it all spilled out. Not at once, but in fragments. How exhausted I was. How lonely the house felt when the lights went out. How being strong at work left me with nothing left at home. How I'd been holding everything together for so long that I didn't know how to let go. Thomas didn't interrupt. He didn't try to fix it. He just listened. And that alone was enough to make me cry. I turned to him and realized how much he'd grown. Not just older but deeper, more present. He wasn't just my son in that moment. He was someone who truly saw me. "I didn't mean for you to see me like this," I said, wiping at my eyes, embarrassed. "Tipsy, falling apart." He gave me the smallest, kindest smile. Maybe it's okay to fall apart sometimes. Something in me unraveled at those words. I leaned my head against his shoulder, and for the first time in years, I let myself feel held. Not physically, not yet, but emotionally, completely. "You're always taking care of everyone else," he murmured. "Maybe it's time someone took care of you." That single sentence cracked me open. And in that moment, nothing else mattered. Not the office, not the emails, not tomorrow's responsibilities. Just us. 2 people who had stopped pretending they were fine. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't taboo. But it was intimate, deeply intimate. And that was the night everything began to shift.